Hello, I'm Dan. This is Vinyl Fury, and I am back to continue the complete vinyl collection series in reverse chronological order. We're now into the second cube of the main shelves. Let's get back into it. From 2016, this is hopefully not the last, but the most recent release from the Mercury program. It's called New Myths. It's technically an EP, 45 RPM, really excellent instrumental post-rock, kind of math rock at times. They make some really excellent sounds with guitars, keyboards, some really excellent grooves a lot of the time. I love the Mercury program, and I have, I think, all of their stuff on vinyl. We will see as we continue in the shelves. Again, from 2016, the most recent full-length from Train Dodge, They Will Never Know Your Name. And this is an excellent album. I recently talked about Train Dodge. It might have been the most recent Random Records video. They're heavy, melodic, hard rock, and they're just so cool. And I'm glad that they're still making music. They've been around for quite a long time. Never really got as much attention as I think they should. But this is another great record, and I think they're working on a new one. It's been a few years, so I'm looking forward to that. Might as well show this, because it is a kind of unique-looking piece of vinyl to me. It's at the same time, at least to my eye, pink and orange. Even though there's no swirl, there's no haze or splatter. There's just kind of a two-tone effect, depending on how it hits the light. And I think you can see that on camera. It's pink. It's orange. It's pretty damn cool. It matches the artwork very, very well. If this is still available, I will leave a link in the description. So hopefully you can check that out too. A couple videos back, I talked about Happy Body, Slow Brain, and how they're now called Rare Futures. And this is an album by them as that. This is Your Brain on Love. And this one is another unique cover. There's LED lights here, and they light up. There's a button on the inside cover. There you go. Still not entirely sure why they changed the name. I think it has more to do with the personnel than the music. The music is still very similar and very good. The Violent Sleep of Reason, Meshuggah, one of the heaviest bands out there. Just brutal, heavy 8-string guitar. If you've never heard it and you like metal music, it doesn't get much better than this, I don't think. So this is a unique one. It's a test pressing for Horses Galloping on Sailboats by a band called Caddisfly, who I have a long history with. They're all some of my best friends, and I spent years on the road with them, years in the studio with them. I was there when they recorded most of this. It's a great record. They never really broke up, but there wasn't a new album for 8 years. And it took a long time to make this, but I think it turned out really, really well. And of course, I had to have one of the test pressings. It's the only Caddisfly album that's on vinyl up to this point, and we've talked about doing others. And this is the actual release. And this is also kind of unique because there were two versions, one that had a special wood box with a mirror inside of it. It was pretty cool. And those were on clear with a white splatter. And then the regular release was a blue 12-inch with a orange 10-inch. They did a 12-inch and a 10-inch, which is an odd pairing. To be honest, that wasn't my idea. So the version that I have is essentially a mix of the two. It's the color of the box set with the regular jacket. And the 10-inch is just on clear vinyl. I think there are some of these still available. And if you like music such as Incubus, Dredge, Circa Survive, those are bands that have often been compared to Caddisfly, although I still think they have a unique something about them that I really enjoy, which is why I've spent a long time as part of their journey as a band. And they are technically still together, and maybe we'll get some more someday. Still in 2016, this is Guidance from Russian Circles. Really excellent post-rock, heavy post-rock band. That's on a clear with brown splatter. David Poe, God and the Girl. David is a wonderful singer-songwriter. He's a very strong songwriter. He's also been involved in songwriting for other artists. Done soundtracks and musical scores. This came out in 2014, and I think it's his best work. And I've had the pleasure of spending several evenings with David over the years. And I was going to be seeing him, but he had to cancel those shows for obvious reasons. So I'm still looking forward to seeing him again. But this is an excellent acoustic, folk, classic American singer-songwriter stuff. Check out David Poe. Cover his album from Rogue Wave. It's called Cover Me. They covered In a Big Country. And I was looking forward to that, and it ended up not being on this record. But they had a download code. They had a few extra songs, and it was on there. But this was a record store day in 2016. 1,600 copies of that. But I think there's a standard version of it as well. Another from Tycho. This is a remix album for the songs on Awake. It's on blue vinyl. Another of the soundtrack albums by Mogwai. This one's Atomic. It's really good. The pressing, I thought, was a little lackluster. The jacket's cool, though. This is a UV spot on the image of the sun, which is appropriate. Of course, a moon-shaped pool, Radiohead, 2016. This is a black version, and I made a video. It's one of my most viewed videos as far as just standard vinyl update videos goes, where I talked about, is vinyl worth it? And part of that conversation was this record when it came out. It was something like $30. But I just happened to come into a record store, and for some reason it was only $22. I don't know if that was a mistake, because I've never seen it that cheap anywhere else. So I just kind of lucked out. But I'm glad I did, because it is a pretty good vinyl pressing of a great album. Animals as Leaders, I've talked about them quite a bit. Showed this not too long ago. This is a 2014 album, but this is a reissue that I got just last year on a yellow with black. And this is one of their best, I think. It's called The Madness of Many. And they're just really good. They're not as heavy as Meshuggah, but they have the same sort of vibe with more melody, no vocals. And they're just excellent players, and it's like really quite beautiful metal guitar music. He's really inspired by Steve Vai, and I think you can definitely hear that. And I love Animals as Leaders. Another Bon Iver, 22 a Million. Another great pressing and a nice jacket. The pressing of the self-titled record, I think, and even for Emma forever ago, both have quality control issues. I think they really got their stuff together for the last couple. And I wasn't going to buy this on vinyl, but I did end up finding it for like $10, and definitely worth it. Okay, now we're into 2015. Another album from Foals. This is What Went Down. And again, on Warner Brothers. A very, very decent pressing. And another great album from Foals. This is a artist who goes by, I pronounce it Ipa. It's Happy backwards. And this is the only album that I have on vinyl anymore. I used to have another one. This one came out in 2015. And this is another splatter record, clear with green splatter. It's an electronic vibe similar to Tycho. Used to be on Ninja Tune. One of my all-time favorite rock bands, Failure. Comeback album, The Heart is a Monster, from 2015. That's a double LP. Another one from Hidden Hospitals. This is Surface Tension. It's how I found them. And I think it's just such a great record. The vibe is just a lot of stuff that I like. Starfire from the band Jaga Jazzist from Norway. Kind of an interesting cover. I don't know if you can see the kind of twinkling effect. Like I was saying before, I'm trying to get through all these without spending too much time on each. Jaga Jazzist, I have talked about quite a bit before. A unique ensemble jazz electronic band. Very, very cool. Perfuse 73, was gone for a while, and they put out 3 releases in 2015. Forsyth Gardens, Rivington Now Rio, and Every Color of Darkness. 2 EPs and a full length. And you can see there's P7, 3 in order. What may be the last album from Super Heaven, ours is Chrome. They've played a few shows since then, but they've kind of broken up, which is unfortunate. They used to be called Daylight, and they're a really awesome like throwback alternative grunge, kind of a neo-grunge, I guess you'd call it. There's definitely been a resurgence in that type of sound. Like the first Weezer record has definitely an influence on their sound. Great songs. I really enjoy them. I wish we could have some more. Talked about Turnover in the last video. This is Peripheral Vision. I played this actually twice in the last week. Still really enjoy it. Dopamine by Third Eye Blind. This is also on white vinyl. They did that a couple times. A pretty good album from them. For me, this is kind of a supergroup. They're called Black Map. The album is called And We Explode. And it's the singer of a band called A Trophy Fire, guitarist of Dredge, and drummer of Far. And I've been able to see him a couple times. It's kind of like, they toured with Chevelle a lot, and I think they did very well doing that. I like Chevelle, but they're a little too mainstream for me. And then this is kind of the more artful version of that, maybe. Ben has a great voice, and these guys together just have a really, really great sound. Flying Lotus, You're Dead. This is a really cool package. Really neat cover. Flying Lotus is pretty awesome. Just have to show that gatefold. That's kind of scary, but really cool. Whoops, I just realized that I had these mixed up. This is actually the 2014 album from Animals as Leaders, a reissue that I also just recently got, The Joy of Motion. So, The Madness of Many actually came out. Wait, I think I just mixed it up again. This came out in 2016. This came out in 2014. And I had them mixed up on the shelves. I could go back and edit that to look like it was all good. I'm not going to do that. A comeback album from Refused. It's called Freedom. And I wish I could say I loved it, but it's just all right. What I got is the European version, which is black and gold mixed. I should listen to this again. I've only listened to the vinyl once, I think. And there was a couple tracks when I started hearing music coming out from it, I was like, oh, this could be interesting. But it just felt like it was held back to some degree. I don't know. I still really enjoy Refused, and I'm just so glad that I got to see them. I've gotten to see them several times, actually, since they started playing shows again. So, oh yeah. D'Angelo and the Vanguard, Black Messiah. Really great pressing of this. It was such a good album. I've actually been thinking about this fairly recently, and I haven't played it. I need to do that. Yeah, this is great. I hope this is still in print. Mogwai album, Rave Tapes. That's the one I was talking about. That with the loser edition came with that 7-inch I had that I still have, although this is not the loser edition of the record. A good Mogwai album, though. The excellent Morning Phase from Beck. This was a joy to listen to when it came out. Really reminiscent of Sea Change, which of course is just magnificent. And I believe he did win some Grammys for this, which I thought was well-deserved. This is a B-sides collection from Minus the Bear called Lost Loves. And some of my favorite tracks of theirs are on this. And it's a translucent yellow with some black smoke. Pretty neat. All right, 10 more records. The Pixies, another kind of comeback album. This is Indie Cindy. I believe it was a collection of EPs that came out leading up to it. Originally came out Record Store Day, and that's when I got this, 2014. I thought it was a pretty good album. Oh, John Autry, Beautifully Broken. Kind of a cliche title, and kind of a weird album cover This was actually sent to me by the label. They reached out to me and asked for a review and stuff. And I did that. I put it on my blog that I used to be more active with. And I liked the record. I had a lot of good things to say about it. It's on blue vinyl. And yeah, I don't know if the label's still going or anything like that. There's the note from Laura who sent it to me. Usonian Records. But yeah, still have that in the collection. Finch, Back to Oblivion. Finch is a band that I was really into around the same time as Glassjaw and all that stuff. And this came out in 2014. It's their last full-length record. Although I have seen them posting some studio photos in the last year or so. They've broken up several times. And last time was about 4 or 5 years ago. I haven't seen anything official about whether or not they're actually recording a record or doing anything, but it seems like something's going on. But anyway, I thought this was pretty good. Vinyl pressing, not necessary. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing them again. And Tycho's Awake really seemed to break them into the kind of the mainstream. It's really cool that music like this can have such a wide audience. It's just so well done, so finely crafted. It's more than music. It's kind of like soundscapes, and I really enjoy it. And I think I first heard of that from Brandon, Mr. Hall of Fame. So thanks, dude. Another album from Rogue Wave. This is Nightingale Floors from 2013. Another good indie rock album. And this is one that I had put in my to listen to pile. Do I need to keep it on vinyl? And here it is, so I am keeping it. First album from Rye, Woman. Really excellent, soulful R&B stuff. Open, the first track, is really, really good. I enjoy this music. Another reunion album. A lot of the bands that I like from like the late 90s, early 2000s gained popularity over a decade or more, and then were able to come back and tour. Some of them made new records, and the Dismemberment Plan are one of those. This is called Uncanny Valley. Some people didn't really get into this. I thought it was great. I thought it was fun. It sounded like the Dismemberment Plan to me. And I did get to see them on this tour, which is awesome. I would definitely take some more from them. This is that Train Dodge album that I showed in the Random Records video. Supernatural Disasters. Talked all about that. Excellent record. Another from Polika, Shulamith. I think this artwork has been censored in record stores sometimes, or maybe online, because I can understand. This one came out in 2013 on Mom and Pop. It's a double LP, a single jacket. Really, really good indie rock. Unique vocal styling, unique production, 2 drum sets, vocals that are multi-tracked and panned hard, moving back and forth, really stereo, a lot of stereo stuff. It's really cool. All right, last in this cube, People, Hell, and Angels from Jimi Hendrix. Another of the Experience Hendrix releases. This is numbered 2172. This came out in 2013. 200 gram vinyl, previously unreleased material. I haven't listened to this in a while. Probably should. That's a really nice cover, though. Okay, we made it through another shelf. 2016 to 2013. I'm going to go ahead and do another one, so you'll see that in a few days. And until then, thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy your music.